Alright, hello folks. Today we got this little four-wheeler for free from a neighbor. So thank you to them. But in this video we're going to try to get it running. So the ignition switch has some issues. I guess the only thing I can see is that they had it taken apart, but there's a little brown wire in there that's not hooked up to anything. So I imagine that's supposed to go on one of these terminals or something like that. I don't know. So I'll have to figure that out, and then there's no battery, so we're going to have to get a battery for it. But they said that the engine ran last, and it has no gas in the tank, so that's a pretty good sign that maybe it saved the carb, because you won't be able to see anything in there, but I do not see anything at all. The oil. There's like the engine here. It's a little engine, tiny little engine. It's hooked up to this like transmission, and it all uses the same oil, I think. And I don't know what kind of oil that is, but you can see that's super dark, and so that needs to be changed. So I'll have to research and find what oil this takes. And yeah, it might be good for Anthony to drive. I think it's a little bit small for him. It's really small. It may not show up on camera, but yeah, it's pretty small. There's some other things. This little guard's broken. They got zip ties holding the plastic together here, which I don't really care about the plastics that much, but... Oh, you're taking out there? Might have better access. No. We'll probably have to take off all these plastics anyway, so we can get a good look at everything and also work on what we need. So unfortunately, we can't even test if the engine cranks over because, well, there's no battery. I don't know. I might be able to hook up a battery to it just to see what's going on. So I'm gonna vacuum out these. The battery box has a ton of debris in it. I don't know what size engine this has. If I had to guess, I'd say maybe like a 90cc or something, or maybe even smaller. It is a 4-stroke though, yeah, I think, because it's got a pretty big head on there. But yeah, sadly it is electric start only, so we can't really test things out too easily. Now, interestingly enough, it does have full suspension, and the rear suspension travel is not too bad. And the front, I went to step on the front to check that out, but for some reason this thing isn't hooked up. But that's an easy fix. More zip ties holding our plastics together up here. We could just take off all the fenders, all these fenders and stuff, maybe. I don't know what kind of transmission it has. I'm guessing either a CVT or just a centrifugal clutch of some sort, because there's no shift linkage, there's no clutch that you can actuate, and it's chain driven, so I don't really know. I imagine it has some kind of CVT type thing.
Oh, what is it?
That might drain out your fluid. I don't know.
This guy?
The top one's probably to fill it, I would imagine, with the oil. And there's something in there. Maybe that's part of the clutch mechanism or something. Mm-hmm. I will say I've never worked on a four-wheeler or anything like this, so this is very much going to be a learning experience. But it was free, so even if it fails miserably and I don't know, we can't do anything with it. You can't go wrong with free, you know. Scrap metal value is worth more than this. Alright, so it's the next day, and we're back working on this. And we can't do a whole lot until we get a battery. Oh, by the way, this says here 72 cm cubed, which is cubic centimeters, also known as cc's. I don't know why they didn't write cc, but it's a 72 cc, so pretty small. For reference, the go-kart is a 212, and so it's just a little bigger than like a powerful leaf blower. Or actually, there are some powerful leaf blowers that have that same size or similar. So it's going to be pretty weak, probably. If I had to guess, I'd say somewhere around like 4 horsepower, maybe. Alright, so we're back working on this little quad, and there was an incident, unfortunately, where Anthony was pushing this around, and a lot of the positive side of the stuff coming off the starter solenoid got caught in the chain and ripped off and destroyed. So you can see here's what is left of it. Broke the wires. You can see just how like mangled that is. So unfortunately that was a major setback, but hopefully I have the stuff to fix it. We have some new wires and some new ones of these connector type things. So I guess these needs to be about as long as this one is, plus the length of this, because that was broken off. So that'd be like that long, but we'll go a little longer, so like right there. So I don't know how much to strip back. I guess we'll start with not a ton. Oh, okay, so that's not cutting all the way through this wire. So I'll use the next smaller, the 12 gauge one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you got to use the one for 12 gauge for some reason. So I guess you then just put that in there. I think this is... Oh no, this is for 16 to 14 gauge. That might not work. I don't know why. I didn't get the one that's for bigger. Alright, so I actually got the correct connectors this time. I always forget what they're called, but they have this washer type connection, and you can just crimp these right on. Yeah, you can see. So you just put that on there. I don't really know which one is supposed to be for crimping. Probably this one. So you want to get that in there like that. Whoops. And I'm going to take this over to the... So this side's going to go to our start solenoid, I think. I don't know which side exactly, which pole. But anyways, that'll go to there, and then this one will go to our positive lead on the battery, for the battery terminal. So I'll need to put another connector on this side. These are pretty great tools. You can cut wire, crimp it, strip, and do lots of stuff with it. So that's, and it's pretty compact. So I think the 12 gauge was the size we went for, and that worked good. Uh-oh, I can't get that. Now the tricky part is, we don't just need to put another connection on this side, because we also need a small wire going into here. Because there's a small wire going into here that went to this fuse right here. And you can see that that's pretty fine. That's like maybe 16 gauge or something. And so you got to get this plus that other one in here. And I don't know how that's going to work. So I think I'm going to go get some small, because I'm pretty sure that this other one that we bought is too fat. Yeah, I don't think it's going to fit. But that's okay. I'm just going to get a small one. Okay, sorry, my camera battery went dead. But basically I stripped this little wire, and it is a solid copper wire, which I do not know if that's going to cause problems or not. It shouldn't, but I don't know. So basically we want to put this in here with this big one, the 10 gauge, and put that all in together with one of these connectors, which could be tricky. And I think I'm going to have to do this off camera. Okay, so I put this, you can see how this smaller wire conjoins with this one, but it also has to go to this connector, which goes to the fuse. And since it's a solid wire, crimping it on doesn't hold super well, so I'm also going to solder it because it wanted to pull out. So thankfully I have some solder here. It's not super hot yet. And it keeps falling off. Maybe. I'll take that. Well, you can see I got a nice little solder bead on there, so that should work great. Alright, so I got our starter solenoid, the wire that goes to it, hooked up, and I reviewed the footage, and indeed this is on the left perspective. This is on the left from the rear perspective, and then our positive battery lead is on the right side. And you can see I got this thing all made up, and that should work good, hopefully. So yeah, here's our positive lead and here's our negative, and then this part here, this is what's meant to go. Noise connection. That's what's meant to go on our little fuse here. So we can just pop that right in there like that. So I think I've got this stuff sorted out. And so now the other thing, the problem, so that's the damage that we did, now fixed. But the other problem is, I'm going to need to flip this around for the lighting. Okay, so the issue is in this piece right here. So if I move this out of the way, this is your light switch. Wait, hang on. This is the light switch, that's fine, everything's hooked up to that. And then there's your kill switch down here, everything's hooked up to that. The problem is with this down here. This is your start button. It engages, and you can see the blue wire's there, but the brown wire is not. And that's supposed to go right on that little piece right there. And so I need to solder that back on. And I think this is going to be really tricky to solder that in there. So I'm not going to film it because it's probably going to be horrible angles and not worth watching, and it'll take forever. It'll be easier for me to do it without it. So I'll let you know when I get that soldered up. Okay, so I got the switch soldered up, and it actually wasn't quite as difficult as I thought, but I needed Anthony to help me because it's really a two-person job. But now we're ready to do another test with this battery. So I don't know if I left it in the video or not, but I did a previous test with this battery, the quad battery, and it worked not. It didn't work at all. I think I hooked the battery up backwards, and hopefully I didn't fry any electronics from that. I may have, which would be terrible. But we're now ready to try again here. Alright, so now we're ready. We'll have the key in the off position, and I'm going to make sure that the lights are off. I think it might have been sparking last time because the lights were on and I was drawing some current. So we want the lights to be off. Alright, here it goes. Nothing. That's good. So we don't have any current draw this time. Last time it was sparking. Alright, battery's hooked up. I'm going to turn it on, the key. Okay, key's on. I don't know if anything's happening. I'm going to turn the lights on and just see if they work. Oh my goodness.
They work! That's cool.
Well, one of them works. The other one's burned out or something.
Okay.
The backlight doesn't work either. And there's no brake light.
Just turn it off.
Okay, so that's questionable. That one of the front lights works. I don't really care about that though. Alright, well let's see if she'll crank. Alright, here it goes. Contact. No. Now it could be this safety switch thing here. I'm pretty sure that guy has to be pressed in, or maybe it's off. I do not know. So we'll try it. No, that doesn't work. So I'll hit that guy. No, nothing. Okay, I'll try jumping the starter solenoid now. Alright. Here it goes. It's not a good angle. Alright. So I think probably our starter solenoid's bad. Because it cranks good. Well, this is a big battery, so it should crank good. Because that thing's charged. Alright. So thank goodness our starter's not broken. Stuff works, except the starter solenoid doesn't work because the kill, or maybe I hooked it up wrong or something. I don't know, because the kill switch does not work, or not the kill switch, the starter switch. So I don't know. That's weird. Well, should we put fuel on this thing? Here, let's check for spark. I'll take the spark plug out, and we'll see if there is spark. I'll check spark first. Kind of rich looking, quite rich looking. It's got a lot of soot on it. Okay, so hold this over here on the fins and tell me if you see any sparking when I crank her over. No, as long as you don't touch the spark plug, just the insulated part. Alright.
Oh boy.
Ready?
Yeah, start.
Good.
We don't want to weld.
So we got spark. That's good. I was a little concerned about that. So all we have left to do now is put fuel in it, because it doesn't have any fuel in it. And if it doesn't work then we'll tear the carburetor down. because I don't really want to dig into that carburetor unless there's a problem. Because it didn't have fuel, so it looks like they did a good job of draining the fuel before they parked it. Hopefully. I'm going to put you over here so it's not super backlit, and we'll see if this thing will start for us. So there's a choke. Here we go. Contact. I'm going to give it a little gas. I'll give it a shot at ether to help it get started. Not really a good angle to get in there. No, you didn't put the spark plug wire on.
I did. You took it off.
Wait, did I tighten the spark plug? Well, that was dumb. It's like the second time I've done that. It's just not even put the spark plug wire back on. And I didn't tighten it either. Well, it's tightened now. So it should fire up. Alright, here it goes. And put a little bit more starting fluid. It's close, dude. It's just not a good position to get ether in here. So I'm not really getting much of any down into the throat. Yeah, that was a lot. So that's better work now. Okay. Oh yeah, this is warm from all the contacting. So start it up a little bit. Put the choke back on here. No, I was just running on ether. Alright, well, so we're going to have to tear the carb down because it looks like it's clogged up or something. Because it ran on ether a little bit, but that was it. Alright, it's time to pull the carb. So I shut off the fuel line. And now take off the fuel line, and it's going to dump everywhere for a little bit. No, or not. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it just wasn't getting fuel flow. Yeah, let me see here. Fuel is on, nothing's coming out. Oh, a little bit of yellowness. Ugh. Well, there goes something.
It's disgusting.
So that's our problem. See, when I come up here, it doesn't come out. So it's just not it wasn't getting any fuel to the carb. So what happened with that? It needs more gas. I just didn't put enough in. Alright, well I'm going to load her up. Alright, so I put more gas in it. That was probably our problem. So if I turn this on, I should probably put something to catch this because we're just wasting gas. Alright, I got a little container down there. Alright, it's on. It's draining. If I bring it up here, stops again. Oh. No, it's still going. At a very slow rate, but it is. So that should be good now. Alright, so we'll put the fuel line back on. There. And see if she runs now. turn that on and give it plenty of time to get all in there. Now I gotta hook our battery back up. Hey, this one's really tight.
You could blow a fuse from cranking too much.
If you crank a lot, it just generates a lot of heat for a long time, and so it's possible. That's how the pull behind mower got the fuse blown on it, because I just cranked and cranked because it wasn't running. I didn't do it continuously for a really long time, but it eventually, I don't know, it blew the fuse. So yeah, definitely is possible. We're hooked up and ready to go. So the carb at this point should have had enough time to fill up, even with that horrible flow rate. I mean, it's a 72cc engine, so it probably doesn't have the exactly really high fuel consumption. It's probably very fuel efficient. Alright, key on. Choke flap is on. Alright, and cranking. Some block on it. Come on. You gotta keep it from stalling. Well, it runs. I don't know. It's not running super good. We'll jack up the rear end so I can give it a little throttle. Probably just wasn't warmed up fully, but well, throttle, yeah. Open a lot. I think it might need to be idled up a little bit, I don't know. So here, I'll crank it up and then see how well it'll move itself. It's so smoky. I thought it might be burning off some oil in the, because that battery's gonna fall out, and then we'll have if the kill switch works here. No.
Let me try.
Okay, well that kill switch works. For some reason the key doesn't seem to do anything in terms of killing the engine. Don't know what that's about. Well, it runs. And it runs
Not
okay-ish.
Not
I don't know why there's so much smoke. So the other big thing is the engine, the oil here is pretty, oh, that muffler's hot. The oil here is pretty black. Bad design. Put the muffler directly under where the oil fill is, so you check the oil and start a fire.
oil fire.
Yeah, so you can see it's pretty black. At least there's not smoke coming out of there, so it probably doesn't have blow-by, but it kind of acts like it does because it's smoking so much. Maybe the valves, one of the valve seals is bad or something, I don't know. Because you think it would clear up by then, just if it had some smoke in the cylinder from sitting for so long. But it seems to keep on smoking. So I'm going to put the air filter back on because we had taken that off to clean it out. So these filters are of course supposed to be oiled, so there's a little spring in there, and I just basically soaked it in degreaser to get all the old grease and oil and dirt out of it. And it's not perfect, but it's way cleaner than it was. So I'm going to oil it, and you can use special air filter oil, but that stuff's collects a ton of dirt. So I like to use WD-40 because it's cheaper and it doesn't collect as much dirt. I mean, it collects a lot of dirt, but it doesn't attract the dirt to the extreme level. So if you put it on the inside, that way it's a little bit better as well. Because if you put it on the outside, it just sticks to it, the dirt. But it might be a good idea to put a little bit more on the outside as well. But anyways, so getting this in here is tricky because this is a super tight fit. I don't even remember how I took this out last time. Was it through the back? It has to squeeze past so much electricals. As far as I can get it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much an airtight seal.
That's good.
Who knows, it may run better with the air filter on because it has a tiny bit more intake restriction. So maybe it's tuned that way so it'll run a little richer or something. Maybe that's why the spark plug looks so rich, because it was ran with a clogged air filter for a while. Who knows? Purely speculation, but... Alright, so sorry, as per usual my battery went dead, and so you missed a little bit of putting it back together, but it wasn't that interesting. It was just a lot of struggling to get all these little fasteners in place and everything, and working with plastics is pretty annoying because, stuff breaks and things. But we got it pretty much on. The only thing we need now is the battery. So let's show them the battery, or where it will be. So we need a battery that fits in the battery box, and obviously that needs to be pretty small, about 5 by 3 inches. So we'll need to find that, and then this thing will be ready to go. At least there's probably a lot of other problems, some weird electrical issues where it won't start with the start kill switch, so I don't know what's going on with that. Also, I need to find what oil this thing takes and replace that. Okay, so we gave it a little bath out here, because it was pretty dirty. I'm not too concerned about getting all the dirt off it because we're just going to get it dirty again, but it definitely looks a bit better. And now we're going to clean the chain because it's super packed with dirt and stuff, and we'll re-lube it. Alright, so this is just some degreaser. Look at all that that's coming off of it. Alright, so now we'll wash it off. We might need to do like a little bit more. I'm going to do another. And then I'll take some of this. I think I do have a sponge out here. That might work better. It's not a... Get some water in there. Alright, well, we'll now wait for that chain to dry out and then I'll re-lube it. Alright, we got a Molly chain lube that's supposed to be good for motorcycles and stuff, so I think it should be good for this application. Oh boy. So I did get quite a bit, so I'll just wipe off some of the excess. Alright, well that sounds really good. So the chain has been nice and serviced. It looks so much better. So yeah, still waiting on the battery. Alright, so we're going to try and give this thing an oil change now. Unfortunately I can't run it because we still don't have the battery. Hopefully we'll be getting that today. But I want to change the oil before I go to the store so I know how much oil this thing holds. And so in case I need to buy more oil. I don't think it'll hold more than a liter. And that's about what I have available of 10W40. So I'm just going to spin this over to maybe circulate a little of the oil. I don't even know if this thing has an oil pump. It might be splash lubrication. But see, I think this does rotate counterclockwise. The spark plug's out, so it should be nice and easy for this drill. Wait a minute.
It's really pretty fast.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah,
You could probably start an engine with that.
Oh yeah, you could.
It won't start solo because it needs a battery just to have spark, I think. Actually, you can check. Put the spark plug in there and see if it'll even... I highly doubt it would make any spark without the battery. Unless it's got like a separate electrical system. I don't think it has even a generator or a...
Hang on. Don't do it yet.
Prepare to get electrocuted, sir. So, touch to metal. Ready?
It's sparking this time.
It's sparking?
Yes, strongly.
Oh! So we might be able to... Dude, this thing's going to run. Alright, well, let's start it right now then.
We can start it?
Well, if it's running, if it's having spark, then yeah, it'll run, even without a battery. Like with most vehicles, if you don't have a battery, it won't even have spark. because it's not completing a circuit or something. I don't exactly understand what that is, but apparently this is making spark. Maybe it's just because our leads are touching or something. Nope, they're definitely not. Because it's good. If we can run it a little bit, then it'll help warm up the oil and loosen any sediments that's at the bottom, so we can get all the oil out more easily. But this thing might want to come off the jack stands. I don't know if that nut is reverse threaded, because we might end up accidentally taking the nut off the flywheel in there because I'm spinning it backwards. So unless it's reverse threaded, it might end up coming off. Alright, it's turning over. Try to start. Or give it a little gas. Might be on choke, but I thought that was on choke. Yeah, more gas.
To warm up.
I idled up just a tiny bit. You can see it's smoking like a freight train.
Yeah.
I had no idea it would run without a battery. It runs just fine, it just can't start. And it'll take a while to warm up because it's got a pretty big block. You can give it a little ride around to warm the oil up. Look at that thing smoking away, dude. Yes, dude. Looks pretty underpowered, but it moves. Does the baby burn out? Well, that's probably good. We don't want to make the oil super hot. I think it sounds like it has a centrifugal clutch to me, because if it had a...
Down here, I'm not giving it very much throttle, and it's pushing me pretty fast.
Yeah, so it has a certain speed where the engine gets more into its power band. So when you're hitting it full throttle from a stop, it bogs down. But, so, yeah, because if it had a CVT, it'd rev up even when you hit it full throttle at a stop. So I'm pretty sure this just has a centrifugal clutch, which means it'll be even more of a dog. But hey, I totally didn't know that you could run this without the battery, because I just assumed like it would be like other vehicles. But if you can start it, you can run it. Nice. All right, well, let's change the oil now. We'll get it back up on the blocks. I don't know. Oh.
Don't drop the nut this time. You always do, dude.
Not always.
Lots of
I
times.
a few times have dropped the nut. Ow. It's gonna be really hot.
Mm-hmm.
You know. This is, I think, magnetic. I'll have to see what. Okay. That's not too hot.
really black.
I'm gonna crack open this thing to, well, for a little more flow here. Alright, well let me know if that starts exceeding the capacity. So we'll let that just drain for a while. Here, you can show this bolt. So, there is actually a little bit of stuff on the drain plug. Is it magnetic? Let me see here. No, it's not magnetic. Or well, maybe. No, that's just the screwdriver. Alright, so I made a big mistake. I took out the regular drain plug, but then I saw this one here, and I thought maybe that was an additional drain plug or something, because I don't know much of anything about these engines. So I took it out, and it shot out, and shot stuff out, like pieces. And so this piece came out with a spring behind it, and they went into the oil container. Where's the spring? Oh yeah. And so then I tried to put, I don't even know how it goes back. So I was trying to see in there, and the spring got stuck in there. So it's just not good. I don't even know what this thing is, what it does, or how it goes back. So it's another big setback, because now I got to figure all this out, because it might be an important part. I'm sure it is some kind of important part, that if it's put back incorrectly, it can cause major issues. Alright, so I actually got the stuff back in. So it turned out it was actually the timing chain tensioner device. And so I freaked out at first because I totally didn't know how to put it back in, but I did a little research and found out what it was, and then I was able to pretty easily figure out how to put it back together. So thankfully, I think disaster has been avoided here, and we can get back to putting oil in it. Anthony opted just to put in what we had on hand, which I hear you are supposed to put 1040 in these things, non-synthetic, and that's what this is. So not much oil came out of it at all. So it won't take much. So my guess is you are supposed to, with these kind of dipsticks, they don't have a max or min on them, so you're just probably supposed to put it up to like the top of the threads, or maybe just on this part. It's not labeled at all, which isn't helpful. Right up to the good line, the full. Spilled it all over me leg. A little extra skin moisturization. So I'll check it again after it's been run some. See if it'll run here. Needs the throttle a little bit. Hey, it's not smoking. I just realized. So maybe it was burning off oil in the muffler or something. Or maybe it was just over full. Oh, wait, there it goes. No, it definitely still smokes. It's gotta be like a seal or something, dude. Here, film me. See if it can lug my fat butt around.
It's not gonna work.
Is it recording?
Yeah. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough.
Once it gets going, dude, it bogs at first, but once it gets going, it has a little bit of power. Honestly, I'm impressed for a 72cc engine. I mean, I weigh 140 pounds, so I'm not heavy, but this thing's meant for probably like a 5-year-old. It's still smoking. Like, it lugged me up that hill pretty good. And yes, we're running it without the battery still. But who needs it when you got a drill start? It's very quiet. We're definitely going to have to draw out that muffler a little bit. Well, just free up a little extra horsepower maybe. Alright, we'll take it for a little top speed run here. Anthony will. We just did one. It's actually pretty fast. I was betting like between 20 and 30. It might be close to 30. Like, it looked, and that was going uphill. We'll see here. So he's not on full throttle right now. Ah, there goes the focus. Oh, he's going way down the hill. Oh, here he comes. Oh, you can hear it revving way up. Dude, it's revving so high. Sounds like it's at 10 grand or something. Dude, yes! Yeah, that does, now that I hear it revving up, it does sound, it feels like it has more horsepower once it's actually getting into its power band a little bit. Because, you know, it's an overhead cam, and it's got pretty big valves, I bet, for the size of the cylinder, so it's probably flowing pretty good. And it's got that flat slide carb on it. All it needs is a not super restrictive muffler. Because all you can hear now is the intake.
Pretty good engine brake. When you let off, it's more like the caught it. It has quite a bit of engine braking.
Can I try it down the road?
Yeah. You don't go too crazy. Let off.
Yeah. Alright. You can film me, I guess. It might go dead. It'll go dead in a second. Yeah. I'll turn around on the gravel.
The poor suspension. Smoke cleared up some. It didn't say it wouldn't be able to get up the air. It gets up it, that's for sure. Moving at a decent rate. You thought it wouldn't get up there, dude. You
I thought it wouldn't even get
pull
up
you
that hill. I'm like very impressed. Because like when you compare it to like a Honda clone, like if you got...
A 3 and 4 horse.
Because it's all in the top end, dude. Like this thing does not do anything at low RPM, and then once you get into the power band, it starts pulling, and it keeps pulling up to like, I don't know, I'd love to get a tachometer on that thing and see what actually RPM it's doing. And then also we need to get a speed gauge. So hopefully later today we're going to get a battery for it and then stuff. But this video is probably already getting super long, so I'm going to call this video right here. It's almost an hour long. I hope you enjoyed seeing me getting this thing running. The batteries are very expensive for this, so I will hopefully get one in the future and maybe do some more video on this little quad. And yeah, it's a nice little four-wheeler for having such a tiny engine. It moves pretty good. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.